Oh, I'm based in San Francisco. So anyway, we're live now. Welcome to another Nerd Stalker interview. This is Greg Gloria, aka Social Greg, on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network. Today we're speaking with John Cohn, an IEEE and IBM fellow. We'll be talking about the IEEE DIY project that just launched last month. And anyway, good afternoon, John, and thank you for joining us here live from New York. Right? You're in different clothes. Than I usually see.
Kind of weird. I'm like, I'm wearing a tie today, which is really weird. As I was telling you before, Greg, I'm here at IBM corporate headquarters in Armonk, New York. We've just come away from a meeting with the boss IBM on my day job, and but normally this is not what I look like. Do I have a picture? I'll send you a picture of what I look like.
Yeah. No, I've seen some pictures.
I walked in and everybody in the room said, "Why are you wearing a tie?" So,
well, anyway, let's get into this. So tell us about this DIY project contest that you guys just launched for IEEE.
Well, so my day job is here at IBM working on Internet of Things, and the IEEE, I'm a big fan of IEEE. You know, I love what they do for our industry. They asked me if I wanted to get involved in the contest, and what I really love the maker movement. I've been very involved in that for a long time, and I love the fact that IEEE was trying to get part of that. And so the idea is, you know, really it's almost completely, it's completely open. All you have to do is use technology in some way, and it has to have maybe hardware, software component, and you have to send us a picture or a movie. So really, it is the broadest canvas you can possibly imagine. And so we're, you know, when they asked me, you know, do you want to be part of it? I was like, anything having to do with the maker movement. Because I think, you know, one of the things that I think about, because I'm an old fart, is I'm like, we spend so much time, when you think about the image of an engineer, from the outside, a lot of people think it's all about, you know, all work and no play, and it's so much not that. And what I love about the contest is that there's a real playful aspect. You know, try stuff. What can you make? Make a few mistakes. Make some cool stuff. And so when it was a no-brainer for me to get involved.
What is this contest targeted towards? College students, high school students? What is this? What's the age range here talking about?
We're open to anything. I mean, we're specifically going after kind of college age, and that's the main target. But I don't think we'd throw anybody out who was younger or older. But you want to enter?
I just might.
It's pretty open, and I really like the IEEE trying to get in here and you know, using more social channels to get that out. So many people who are entering engineering right now, you know, are coming in with a mix of skills. It's not just all about the numbers. It's about design. It's about communications. It's about creativity. And engineering's always been about creativity, but maybe if the pendulum is swinging, you know, back when I was a boy, it was more about, you know, like getting the 57 decimals of the answer. And now I think, you know, much more about exploration, playful spirit, design, you know, ethics, you know, human impact, and this contest is really trying to sample that. And really, it's wide open, so we're not giving people too much instruction because we want to see what comes back.
Wow! So how long have you guys been doing this contest?
I am not programmed to respond to that. Well, it's just been I think about 6 to 8 weeks. I'm not exactly sure.
Oh yeah. From
September, I mean, I just got drawn into it, but it's about that. So it's only been going for a while, and it's going for another couple of weeks. And so far, we've got, like, let me see if I can look at my stats. 62 entries so far, which is pretty good. Yeah.
Wow.
We expect that, you know, as it comes into November, we're going to get a lot more, and really want to, you know, if you're out there listening, this is really wide open. We're looking for anything. We're looking for a couple of topics: green technology, accessibility, transport, like intelligent transport, and really, you know, you can think all around this stuff. Public safety, entertainment. There's an easy one. Yeah, that's pretty fun. Education, communication, and then the most important topic, which is other. So, so really we're just trying to say, basically it's got to have hardware or software. And you really need to have a concept. You need to be able to tell us about it, send us an image, video, just tell us about the idea. And then we'll dig in. And we're curating these things online. So we're, like you can vote, you can go in there. What I would encourage you to do is do you have the website, by the way, Greg?
Yeah.
Okay, so send
Nerdstalker.com.
that out. But if you go look at it, you'll get some ideas of what's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can vote people up or down. And you know what the best thing about this whole thing is? You can steal their ideas. That's the whole thing about this kind of open collaborative effort. Go there and build on something in there, kind of get your wheels going, build on it.
Wow.
And then we're using social means to help kind of curate the best ideas, which would be cool. But last year we had over 300 entries. So that was, yeah.
Wow. What was the winner from last year?
I'm glad you asked that. It was by Gaurav Gautam, and it was a wirelessly operated hand glove robot. It was pretty cool. It was I can send you the link. It was pretty cool. It was it was just a haptic kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow. But this year we've got, we were just looking a couple of weeks ago. Some of the IEEE folks came up and visited me in Vermont, which was really fun. Let's see if I can show you a picture of the project here. I don't know if I can bring it up real time, but they came up and we were going through some of them, and there were some really cool things. I mean, like we had one project that was doing nanotechnology to try to do a blood test, which is like way out there in the health. We had another project that was trying to create a disruptor array for people who were coming through with a boombox too loud. I was like, well, if you can elaborate how to do that, I'd be all about it. So some of them were very, very practical, and some of them were more, let's just say, aspirational. We had some very straightforward things, like somebody was creating a Bluetooth remote control. Real pragmatic. They had actually implemented it, and like I say, some of them were more on the line of time travel. And obviously, because we're going to be voted up or down based on the social stuff, is that ideas that are kind of the more baked and the more inspirational, the better.
No, it's great. We were talking offline a little bit about how you see the contrast between like maybe even 15 years ago and now, or even 10 years ago, and the creativity of the students at a younger age also is apparent. If you want to kind of go through this maker movement, we could talk about that. But it was interesting you were talking about that. Maybe you could share some of your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think back when I was a boy. Now, I mean, I feel like that old guy going, "Hey, when I was your age." No, when I was growing up, to be somebody who was making stuff, like I had a little, lab in my garage and would be making stuff, and it was like I don't know, it just seems sort of like a weird hobby, like knowing somebody who square danced or or collected model trains. It was kind of like, ew. And for decades, really going through the 80s and 90s, it wasn't that, there was a little nerd subculture, but it was pretty isolated. Then what happened, I think, a couple of things happened. You mentioned Dale Doherty, but I think Make Magazine was kind of a break point where you weren't just, it was an idea about, contributing. It wasn't just, a magazine about doing ideas. It invited contribution. And by the time you started, a couple years into that, in the early 2000s, people were contributing their own ideas or mixing up other people's ideas. They were mashing them up, a little of this, a little of that, putting stuff out, open source hardware, open source software. And people were using things like YouTube or Instructables to kind of share ideas. And now it went from being sort of this crazy closet, some weirdo in the garage making something, to everybody's doing it. And I think what that did is that really gave people permission that, that it was not only acceptable, it was glorified to be a nerd, for lack of a better word. People wanted to make stuff. And as we were talking before, one of the things I love about the maker movement, I've been very active in the maker movement since then. I helped create 2 maker spaces, and we brought Maker Faire up to Vermont, all of this stuff. And I really honor the people like Dale Doherty who were behind that. But it has invited so many people who were not, who wouldn't I think of classical engineers? When I think about, I'm an electrical engineer, I have a degree in electrical engineering. Some of the people who were most capable, builders come from completely different background. They might be artists. Like my oldest son, Max, is got an art degree from Pratt, and he's an awesome, programmer and everything else. I know all the people that I know who I would consider amazing engineers, they don't all have engineering degrees. The good thing is, if you don't let those barriers, tie you down too much, you get more out of it. Because, as I was saying, engineering is not just about getting the right answer. It's about design. It's about utility. It's about ethics. It's about fun and play. So I really like that whole thing. And the contest is really about it,
Oh, absolutely. I think that's why when I saw this, when your PR people kind of threw this article or, this pitch at us, it was natural because, we're such a supporter on the West Coast here, in San Francisco of the maker movement. They have a big fair here on the West Coast.
Oh, I've been there. San Mateo is so great. Yeah.
Oh man. And it just watching all the younger kids, and it seems to me, John, as apart from maybe the 80s and 90s where I kind of grew up and started to build stuff, it's more accessible for some reason, easier to use, that type of thing. So that's something that I noticed as well.
It's that whole kind of mashup culture, Greg. I think, when I think back to the lineage of like Make Magazine and stuff, you can start, it's no longer, what I think about, it used to be, I got my idea and I'm going to keep it, I'm not going to share it. I think with the whole open movement, whether it's, open source hardware, open source software, open data, Code for America, those kind of things really show that you can do a lot more by being able to mash up other people's ideas. It honors your idea to kind of throw it out there and see what comes back. And, I think that the economy around it is show that you can, things like Kickstarter, just, sharing your ideas is not a bad way to make a living. You think about it. I will tell you an instructive story, young man. So,
ooh, you got to put the glasses on.
Guys, yeah, the glasses. Okay. So one of the interesting things, one of my favorite engineering stories about this is that back in the early 2000s, maybe 2005 or 6, I traveled a lot to Asia, and I was seeing these LEDs, these LED strips like this.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
If I can turn that back on, and there was no instructions or anything like that, and the documentation that they had was not only was it wasn't just that it was in Chinese, it was that it wasn't really documentation, because it was used for signs. What happened is that people started, I was trying to debug, how does this stuff work? And this is like 11th generation of it, but back then I got out of scope and tried to figure out how to use this stuff. I figured about 90% of it, but the last 10% on the fades, I couldn't. I went to a blog that I found on Make Magazine, ran into a guy who was half my age, twice as smart. He figured out the rest of it. He took my crafty code, rewrote it in Arduino. That code found its way by various ways into the code base that I'm using today. And so the whole idea of things kind of having that full circle, throwing it out there and then getting it back better, that's really good. And the whole idea of this contest is to try to put things out there for people to build on. So like I said, go check out that website and, poach those ideas.
Yeah.
It's such a, yeah. Oh, cool.
I'll share the website right now. You can see it right here. It's transmitter.ieee.org.ediy. And look at all the kind of cool projects John was talking about here. So, it's just awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Ooh, Tesla coil. I build Tesla coils.
Yeah, there's some basic stuff like touchscreen, resist touchscreen with Bluetooth PC mouse. That's cool.
Real-time monitoring heart rate for elders and predict heart disease with risk factors.
That's awesome. That is totally awesome. A bowling robot.
I love it. And you're not going to get get rich off of this, but you do get to get that sort of social feedback of how people like your ideas. The whole thing is go there. If nothing else, please help us out by going and voting things up. There's only a thumbs up, right? And that's how we're using to go in and curate these things. So we're hoping to get a couple hundred more in the next several weeks. But really, if you're out there and you've got an idea, put it out there. And the thing is, you can keep adding to it based on the feedback people have. You can kind of go, or other ideas you see, just keep tuning it up.
Absolutely, you have some time. So I think this ends in December, John. Or
yeah. Is it December 7th?
Yeah,
I don't know. My handlers are not
December
here.
7th. That's okay. That's all right. That's right. I'm your handler. I'm your handler. I'm your handler today. So I got your back. But anyway, yeah. Let's close off the interview so you can get out of your adult suit, your monkey suit, and and get you on your plane back to Vermont. There.
No problem. It is weekend time. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
No, seriously, but Greg, I really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us and helping us get the word out, because we're looking forward to seeing a wide range of ideas. Anything goes. Remember, other is a big topic. So let your wild side out here and bring your geek out.
I love it. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll close off the interview. That was John Cohn, IEEE and IBM fellow and spokesperson for the IEEE DIY project.
All right. Thank you, Greg. It's great talking to you.
All right. Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
All right. So anyway, this is Greg Gloria, aka Social Greg on Twitter from the Nerd Stalker Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. Okay. Travel safe, John. Talk to you later.
Bye.